Welcome back to another episode of the Bad Taste Video Podcast. I'm Mike. I'm here with my Halloween homeboy, Mr. Grizz, and a very special guest, Mr. E.K. Wimmer from the Laser Graves podcast. But I'm shocked. I could swear I was looking at the man himself, Rob Zombie. Jesus.
Yeah.
There he is, man.
Yeah, ding-a-ling,
Live and in
space
the flesh.
Dude, what a costume. When EK said, yo, I'm going to be fucking Rob Zombie, show me that he's like making the hat. I'm like, Jesus, this thing is pretty much spot on.
The hat is set it off. The homemade hat set it off.
It's a little hard to see right now, but you know what? We'll get a picture of it. We'll put it up on the Instagram so you could see.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Grizz over here as Hillbilly Jim himself. Look, he's even got his he's even got the wrist tape. Come on, let's see him.
Yeah, come on, let's fucking
Look at that. Look at
What's that pose he does?
Now here's the question. How are you going to get that tape off after?
It's going to hurt like a motherfucker, dude. I can tell you that right now.
And me, I'm reliving my glory days of long ago, having hair, and everything else is just kind of an accessory, right?
Dude, you look like you just walked off of like a 70s porno set. And you're like ready.
This is real. As you can see, the beard is gone.
Dude,
This is just
mwah. Dude, very nice.
This is what happens when you mix like Italian with like Eastern European hair. You get this.
You're like just got off the set of like, you know, like some kind of like Uranus fucking like film that they're shooting from the set.
I kind of got the Rick Rude going on right now. I'm close, man.
Dude, yeah. But dude, you honestly, when you came out with the fucking hair with the private group already, dude, I was like, this is a fucking Polonia, brother. Holy fuck, dude.
I couldn't find the glasses, unfortunately. I was not going to try that hard, but I did manage to have their space goggles that they use. Genuine NASA space goggles.
So you probably just had those in your fucking work shed, to be
fuck you, man. But before we get into anything else, let's hit that intro and get into this fucking movie. So as you could see in that wonderful intro that I'm surprised hasn't gotten us in any sort of trouble on YouTube, because according to Twitch, that was too hot for Twitch. That's legitimately what got us like fucking suspended and everything. But we're going pretty strong on here. I'm surprised we haven't gotten in any sort of trouble. But
didn't fucking YouTube reached out and was like, what's up with the violence? And you're like, we fucking cover movies. And you're like, oh, cool.
Oh yeah, actually, you're right. Like one of the first ones that we put up here, I got like a strike for like fucking like violence and gore and everything and all. And I was
shit. Like, oh, here we go again. We're fucked.
No, I challenged it. I'm like, no, we do reviews of low budget horror movies from the 80s and the 90s. This is, it's by no means real or anything, and they fucking took the strike away, and they look at us now. Maybe they put a little flag on it. Yeah, they just said like, yeah, these guys are fucking morons. Just leave them be.
Yeah, just never monetize these guys.
yeah. But this week we're covering Blood Red Planet, a Polonia Brothers classic. I don't give a flying fuck what Grizz has to say. This is one of the best Polonia movies. It's not. I'm not even gonna say it's not quite. It's not a horror movie. Let's be real. This is not a horror movie.
Not at all.
This is a science fiction film. About a quarter of the way through it, I went, oh, fuck, I forgot. Grizz is going to hate this shit.
Listen. I take back every bad thing I ever said about Bad Magic. Bad Magic is a fucking great Polonia film. I'd be happy to watch that anytime. Just don't ever fucking ask me to watch this movie ever again for this fucking podcast.
All right, now,
give it 3 months and you'll say the same thing about this.
3 months.
Yeah, we could show you worse ones, man. We could dig deep for you. We could start showing you. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to get in trouble with. I don't want Mark to hate us. But this movie to me is quite different than any other of the Polonia films that I'm at least familiar with, because there are tons out there that are, from what, EK, like 2003 to current, that are just kind of like sprinkled in. They're on Tubi and everything like that, but they never like gave me the same feeling as, the John and Mark stuff. It's different. But this one feels like it's an actual movie with a plot, with a fucking story that like actually makes sense. I don't know. I feel like this is like one of their most put together films, because then you have like The House That Screamed 1 and 2 and stuff after that, which, they're good. They're great Polonia films, but I feel like this one just stands out for whatever reason. I don't know what it is.
Maybe because the dialogue just drowns you in like boringness throughout like most of it. Like, and I get it. Like, I'm not the biggest sci-fi fan in the world. Like, I was kind of like, as soon as I realized it was going to be that heavy of a sci-fi movie, I was like, oh, fuck me, dude. This is what we're getting into.
Yeah.
Then like, I was still open to it. So I was like, it's a Polonia film. There's got to be some like fun aspects. And there's some really fucking funny scenes. Some of the dialogue is funny, but I mean, overly boring movie in my opinion for the most part. This one just doesn't, like, there's a lot of it where I'm just like, come on, let's get to the fucking, like, let's like the whole first half of this movie is really just a slow bake, man.
Well, it's really building up for, pretty much, they're giving you the plot of the story, the first half of it, and then the second half is them pretty much just go into their, I don't want to ruin it because, well, we will ruin it eventually, but EK, you're our Polonia expert. You have the books, you've seen everything. Where do you rank this one on the scale? From, I don't even know what the scale would be.
It's an interesting one because I think what throws a lot of people is they do play this pretty straight. Like, the comedy is there, but it's not in front like most of their movies.
Yeah.
And they did that intentionally. So right there, I think that throws a little bit, of people off. And then second is, like you said, of almost all their movies, this is probably the easiest to follow. It does have a beginning, middle, and end that's really structured. And considering, like you said, House of Scream came right before this and Dweller came right after, and both of those are just typical nonsense that this one, at first, when I first saw it, I would agree with Grizz. Like, I was a little bored at first, and then, like Bad Magic, I gave it a second watch, and then by my third watch, I knew what was coming. I got all the humor, I got the plot, and I could really enjoy it. So this one took some time to grow on me. And I would say every time I watch it, it keeps growing. I wouldn't put it up there as top tier, but I wouldn't put it at the bottom either. I would put it kind of like right in the middle. As for Polonia fans, this is a solid film, but this isn't one that I would come out recommending to somebody who's never
I think
seen
there's like also like different. I think that's such a broad statement to be like Polonia film fans, because like it varies so much in what you get in that statement. Like every movie does have some similarities to them, but there is like such a vast difference in their overall catalog. Whereas like, like what Mike was saying earlier, the early stuff that it was really just the brothers like honing in on their craft. That to me is like the bread and butter of what I loved and what I got into these guys about. Whereas like now at this point in like 2000, and even with the horror stuff at this point, like it's not hitting those marks for me as much. I think, Bad Magic still kind of has a little bit of that magic, I guess you would say, from like the brothers and stuff. But like at this point, I just feel like a lot of that's lost. Even though, John is in this film and stuff like that, it's just not. It's not like that, like creative, let's like just try shit kind of a thing to me. Whereas like they had a bigger picture in mind going into this.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like a time period where I really do enjoy these movies that came out, like Terror House and The House That Screamed. Like I said, I haven't seen Dweller, and EK was telling me that I have to watch it. It's another John McBride movie, right?
Well, it's got all three of them in it. So the brothers are both, John and Mark are in it with John McBride, and it's back to the three as the main cast, which anytime all three of them are in a film, I feel like it's real fun. And so maybe that's something that's slightly off for Grizz too with this one, is that even though Mark's involved, he's not in the cast with John. Whereas with Dweller that came out right after this, they're right back there. And I can tell you right away, I was laughing more, even though they play that one kind of straight too, just because when their films, and yeah, Grizz, you're right, there's different eras of Polonia films, but you still kind of generally know what you're in for. But when you see the two brothers on screen together, they don't even have to say anything and you're already laughing because
it's a spark. Yeah.
Yeah, you just know it. And so that's what I do like about Dweller, is that they are both in there and they're interacting with John McBride, which is the three of them together are just, it's really
the dream team.
It's when the magic happens. Yeah.
EK,
like Mike, why don't you like before we like continue with this thing, like why don't we just give like an overall idea of what this movie is about? Because there's like some comparisons that I want to like, make to other films of theirs and stuff like that. And it might explain a little bit of why I'm not as in love with this one.
EK, you want to do it or you want me to do it?
You can. I mean, it's a pretty easy walkthrough. We should make Grizz do it to show that he actually watched
get the fuck out of here. I didn't watch it.
So this planetoid is heading towards Earth, which is causing all sorts of weather anomalies, which is causing a whole bunch of issues with the population of humans. And they have to send specialized teams to see what's going on. And after one team is completely destroyed, they have to send the dream team to take care of business. No, they actually mentioned that they're like the fuck ups and like the people that they don't really care about. They say, "Oh, it's a suicide mission." I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, which is like evident because like the one guy's wasted the whole time, like hitting the fucking bottle and shit. I did like that.
So
the copacetic guy.
Yes. That was on like a word of the day calendar. Probably they're just like, copacetic. Like, that's cool. EK, do you happen to have the DVD handy? That you have?
I don't.
No?
I could grab it, but it's part of a box set called Galaxy of Terror, which was kind of a bitch to find because it's got 4 films on there and 3 of them are Polonia films. And as I was, I've mentioned before, their stuff from 2000 on, the only ones that got releases were like House That Screamed 2, House That Screamed, and this one, Blood Red Planet. So everything else got put on these really weird box sets, DVD box sets, and so it took me a while to track down some of these, and the Galaxy of Terror one was a big one because the one time it would pop up, it would be overpriced or something, but I eventually found it. So, and I think it's just a VHS rip also.
Yeah. We have to double check that. I actually have the tape.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that shit.
Hey, there you go.
What is it?
I love that face.
Roundscent.com. What the fuck, man? This is like one of those things because it's not like
that cover just sells so much harder than the movie actually is, man. That cover rules for like what's delivered
it's a
here.
Good cover.
Yeah, this movie, like the release, it's a very late, I guess, Polonia release, right? 2000. Doesn't seem like too many were made. It seems like it has a pretty low print run. That's a pretty Rounds Entertainment, like pretty interesting company. They like re-released a whole bunch of these like other low budget like shot on video movies with like alternate artwork and stuff, but all the artwork is actually pretty awesome. Like they knew what they were doing when it came to that shit. I don't know, man. That. Yeah, it's not like what is it, Terror at the Red Roof Inn or whatever, freaking Club Dead.
Club Dead. So like what I feel like is the big miss for me is that you got the feeder dudes here, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all working on this film. You're making a film about fucking space aliens. Like, why no tie-in? Why not even like I just wanted there to be like, it would be so cool to me if
Dude, there is.
these no, they have the fucking little like battle. Don't fucking tell me they don't mention the fucking thing. It's not what I'm talking about.
Sure,
I'm
is.
saying like, I
working
want
together,
like,
bro.
all right, you got these fuck ups, right? Like, what if these guys were brought in because they are the feeder dudes and like they have experience with these fucking aliens, right? So they get brought in on this fucking team and now they got to go up there to fucking, like, it would be so cool to be like, they have history with these fucking aliens and like, they're the fucking feeder dudes. Like, we know them as that. Like, they have this fucking alien backstory already built in. I think that's what just pissed me off about it. Is I just wanted it to be an extension of feeders so bad because I love that shit.
I guess they could have tied John McBride in. Like, after that, he like kind of went nuts, joined the military, ended up in this fucking like Space Force type thing. But you couldn't do. But remember, the alien Polonia was the one that was alive at the end of Feeder, so he wouldn't be involved with this. You know what I mean? Like, that would be.
Yeah, and it wasn't an intentional tie-in, but they used the exact same spaceship graphics and stuff. Like, they milked those graphics for. I mean, those show up in Dweller too. I have an interview with John McBride, and he's like, "We use the spaceships in so many of them because they got them. Might as well use them."
Honestly, like, that's the big thing about this movie to me is that, like, just looking at all the fucking props that were used throughout this thing, it is like, they're in space. They better have their N95 mask on with their fucking,
with their safety goggles.
Chemistry goggles.
Yeah. So we actually have a clip of the alien ships. And I feel like this is one of those things where if this is the first time you're watching the movie and you see this after watching Feeders, like, you're gonna pop. Like, this is one of those things where you'll get like, oh yeah. Look, it's the same. It's the same thing. The props that you were saying. Look, they have like the cupcake pans on the wall. That's the interior of like the cockpit.
I could read their
Look at these studs.
plates.
I can read their license
plate.
Look at these effects. They just don't do it like this anymore, man. Look at that mustache. Damn.
Yeah, this is all out warfare.
This looks like something from like a PlayStation 2 or something, maybe even PlayStation 1, but 2000s. Well, actually, no, it'd be like mid to late 90s CGI graphics that you could buy at like Micro Center on a disc. That's what they're using there. And if you've seen Feeders or Feeders 2 or whatever, like, you would recognize these immediately. You're actually going to recognize some of the music from Feeders also. They reuse some of the same score, but
yeah, I will say John McBride with a beard was pretty fucking fire. I dig that for sure.
He had the turtleneck too. Damn, what a look, man.
So nice. Dude,
hey, so Silhouetted Animator was just talking about the CGI, the effects, and what's funny is John McBride talked about all the effects and he was dead serious. He wasn't being funny. He said that they got somebody in England or something to do all of the CGI, and that was the state of the art, the best that could happen at the time, and that they were so excited to get all of it to put in this film because they felt like this was like the best you could get at the time. And I thought that was cool.
It's almost endearing, It's like, that's You've seen Jurassic Park, right? There's way better effects out there.
They reuse even more stuff, like the background of the spacewalk scene. Isn't that the same background that they use in Bad Magic?
Yeah, they reuse so much. Yeah, they used a lot of Bad Magic stuff too.
Yes. Yeah.
Why not, right?
Well, the spacewalk scene here is probably one of my favorite Polonia scenes of all time.
It's just so awkward, right?
No, it's not awkward. It's great, man. This is awesome.
It's just awkward, right?
All right, so let me roll this one because this is just peak Polonia here. There he is, floating in space in his Tyvek suit, his motorcycle helmet on, and he's just bobbing back and forth with like the background that they used in fucking.
There it is, boom.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that mustache. Look at this, Mike. You captured that, right?
Yeah,
perfect.
There it is, man. He's doing a spacewalk to repair the space station, and it's just that whole sequence is funny as hell. because he
Yeah.
looks like he's doing it 100% serious. Like it's way, way serious. But it looks like something you'd see from like a 90s kids show on like PBS. Like something like where it's like really quickly done. It just, there's something about it that makes me like,
that's a good call.
crack up every time. Like it's
Hey,
just, I don't know, it's
go
great.
ahead. I was gonna say, you know that clip that you just showed. Did you hear that little audio clip that keeps playing throughout the movie? That's like a clarinet that goes
Yeah.
"Doo-doo-doo-doo," and keeps going. I actually know exactly where that sample comes from because in like 2000, when this was made, I had an audio editing program for my music called Acid Music.
Oh, yeah,
and
dude.
it came with all these preloaded samples.
Acid Pro,
and
man.
the haunted clarinet, yeah, was one of them, and it's that exact same sample because I've used it as a joke. And when I was watching this movie, I was
That
like,
is a
"Holy
joke."
shit! I totally know where
They
that
used
came
it as
from."
a serious thing
Yeah.
there. That's fucking awesome. I used to use Acid Pro in
Yeah.
high school. I took an electronic music class. Like you'd sit there just like make fucking like
Yeah.
techno songs on your computer. It's like,
Like how
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, eat
I like
snacks
how
in there.
silhouetted animator says that there's no oxygen tanks needed, just put on like a motorcycle helmet, and like that's like a thing that continues throughout the movie where they're like they're on like Mars and they just have like N95 masks on
No,
and like
they have oxygen
no
tanks.
oxygen tanks. They're
Yeah,
just-
they do. They have oxygen tanks on.
they have like those fucking like pop bottles that are supposed
They
to be
do.
like fucking
They were.
oxygen.
Yeah, but it's
They
supposed
said
to
they
be
went to the store and bought some soda bottles and they turned them upside down.
it's the future,
There it
bro.
is.
That's why, man. You're not going to need a huge
They're
ass
so
fucking
small,
spacesuit in
man.
the
They're
future.
not- yeah, I get it.
Come
dude.
on, look at them
It is-
compared to.
That's like, dude, that's like the bullshit thing about science fiction is that you can just be like, it's the future, bro. You don't know what the fucking
Exactly,
future
man.
holds.
Yeah, fuck you.
Exactly.
I
Bullshit.
missed this
Bullshit.
comment before from Kiryu Gore. Eiffel 65 music video level effects. That is
It really is that, dude.
that is
It
pretty
really is
spot
that.
on. This movie actually has something that immediately makes me like it. Possibly the best fake newscast of all the movies we've ever watched. Maybe besides Chillers. That one has that's like legit. The vampire one, like that's fucking pretty wild. But this
Oh,
one
other
is,
ones.
And
I can't remember
was it
now.
City of the Vampires? I think has a good fake newscast too.
yeah, but that's too big a budget. That's
Oh, okay.
oh wait, oh no, not City. I'm
I was
thinking
gonna say, how is that too big?
I'm thinking of fucking City of the
Kingdom,
Walking
City.
I'm thinking of City of the Walking Dead. Because I'm like, that's a
Oh,
fucking
that-
35 millimeter film. Like, yeah, of course they have a good fucking newscast on that. But the newscast here is EK. Do you know who this guy is?
I don't. I was gonna look him up because he makes me laugh every time. Every time he delivers a line, it's the funniest.
It's really Gail Largay. Man on the Road in The House That Screamed. Feeders 2. Oh, Mr. Hatton in Feeders 2. He's the boss.
The warehouse, yeah.
He's the boss.
There you go.
What's Nightcrawlers? You ever see that one?
Yeah, I got that one too. I'll send it to you.
All right,
I mean,
all right.
I'll pretend to send it to you.
We'll watch it together on the TV at the same time in the same house in the same room.
Exactly, together in one room.
But this clip is going to show the newscast that pretty much made me say, "Holy shit, they did a really fucking good job on this." New Los Angeles.
Contact with Lunar Base 6 was disabled and contact still has not been reached. Almost at the same
They have all
time,
stock
freak
footage
weather conditions
from like
I know.
freak weather
Disasters.
disasters, yeah, like fires and shit.
Record highs at the poles and
It's
snow in the Sahara.
done like incredibly well, I feel like.
Highly unusual weather have anything to do with the new
This
satellite
fucking guy.
revolving around the red planet?
Yeah.
This shot here cracks me up too. When they're
Oh,
just standing there.
It's like a synthwave cover from the 80s.
Yeah. They like
perfect.
pan on the I guess astronauts that are going to
Oh
go
my
up to
God.
investigate what's happening, and it looks like that picture of like the sleep fucking picture that they used for everything for a while, like where they're standing there like the Sears fucking
ridiculous.
portrait. But that was the
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That is
the
what
first
it looks
team.
like.
yeah, that's the first team that goes up. They don't fare too well, do they?
With the fucking Olin
No.
Mills to get their fucking shots taken.
There's a pretty cool sequence in the beginning that has to do with the first crew and everything. And they cut the guy's head exploding with like the explosion of like the lunar base, right? Isn't that what this is supposed to be? Because they don't explicitly show like the gore like they normally would do in a Polonia film.
Well, that's the big problem with this movie also. But it's also like they have this like force that's like causing these things to happen, and it's just like these squiggly fucking
It's like the
black
fake
lightning
electricity.
lines and shit.
Yeah. So they show this bright light hitting the lunar base.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, with the electricity, the guy's screaming, holding his head. I like how you can see the shape of the effect. Is that a baby monitor?
What's wrong? What's wrong?
The miniature is great that they use for
Yeah, it's
the
all
lunar
Billy
base.
Piper.
I would say this, that like probably creating this set was probably the funnest aspect of making this movie. Like taking shit you could find around your house and turning it into a spaceship, which is
Yeah.
basically what they fucking
yeah,
did
hell yeah.
here.
I would
It
love to
would be
see-
so fun. I would do that right now.
I would love to see a picture of that shit, of like the set, like in, you know, like a picture of the room. I wonder if I emailed Mark if he would like have anything like that, because that's
Yeah, and
I'm pretty interested actually.
The space station miniature and the creature at the end is all done by Brett Piper, because he's worked with them for a bunch, and I know you guys are both too. I'm a huge Brett Piper fan, and I think like you throw him in the mix and it's always really fun. And I think he did a really good job. I love the space station miniature. It's cool looking.
Dude,
Yeah.
Piper and his like fucking like bug movies, his like animal fucking shit. He's awesome. I could definitely see like
Yeah.
the collab being like a lot of fun.
I just
Yeah.
Grizz, hit him up, man. Didn't you speak to him about something?
Fucking-
Did you? I thought you
Yeah, it
spoke
was
to
a-
him about some
I-
shit.
It was about some tapes I had, but yeah, I could. I'm fucking mine. I'll fucking reach out to him. I don't give a fuck. Remember me, motherfucker? I'm back.
I got questions now. But the cool thing about this movie, or at least the story, is that these aliens, like, not only are just straight up like, can they kill you, but they also kind of create zombies out of people, right? Like that's kind of like one of their deals is that they kill you and turn you into like a undead minion of theirs to do their bidding. And possibly one of the coolest scenes of the film is when the doctor is visited by like this zombie alien entity, and it's actually a pretty cool line. And I feel like Grizz, you like this scene at least. Come on.
Yeah.
I said there's good scenes. I didn't say it was all horrible.
Understand. I want to help.
So
This
this
doctor
Mitch,
cracked me up the entire film. To be
Mitch
honest with you.
Hedberg over here, but like
Yeah.
balding.
His delivery of
Can't help if you don't talk to me.
the
Please.
the zombie alien is wearing the same helmet that fucking Polonia was wearing before. He looks like
yeah. I just noticed that. Yeah.
he looks like he's like all shriveled up like a prune. But he says
But I liked what they tried. I like what they tried to go for though with the doctor, where like he made this comment to the fucking McBride where he was like, aliens don't got to be fucking hostile. We could be, if they're smart, we could fucking be peaceful with them and shit. And McBride's like, bang bang motherfucker, we're fucking going to kill those aliens
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah,
Which I
yeah, well,
respect that.
well,
So like that whole dynamic and drama they were trying to build I could see what they were going for. It was just pretty funny. That's how it ended up landing.
Well, like, there's a cool thing they have like Cal, which is like the onboard computer. They're doing that like whole 2001 Space Odyssey thing.
Yeah,
But there's a
for
cool
sure.
scene where John McBride is like having an interaction with him. And he's like, well, probability says that they wouldn't be hostile. And then John McBride says to Cal, but what do you think? And Cal goes, I think they're gonna kill us or whatever.
Yeah, we're fucking toasted.
Yeah, he's basically like, nah, I think they're coming for us, and that turned out to be true. And it's pretty cool because these like space zombie things, they're kind of like to me it reminds me of something that would be like in like fucking Doom or something. You know what I mean? Like this like space zombie from Mars. It's all like shriveled up and hellish looking almost. And like they all end up turning into these like murderous fucking entities that just only resemble their former selves. I think that's a pretty cool idea to add to this whole story that's going on.
It was confusing at first though, because I was like, who was the real fucking, well, what's the menace, you know? Like, I saw the feeders aliens, but they're not fucking in this movie. So like, I see the lightning, and that's supposed to mean something. Now I see a fucking zombie, that's supposed to mean something. So it's like all these different like things, and I'm like, oh, what the? But I will say, once I finally get the reveal of like what the actual alien is, and then like the whole planet fucking spaceship joint thing, I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. The final alien payoff was dope in the movie, but like, I see like the whole zombie thing being cool. I just thought it was like, man, like, what the fuck is going on throughout this whole thing?
What do you think, EK? Space zombies good? Space zombies bad?
I love that. That's one of my favorite scenes, that clip that you just showed, especially because it's got Todd Carpenter, which I have to spend some time on, because he, outside of the main core group of Polonia actors, he's one of my absolute favorites. Every time he shows up in a movie, you know, he was Santa in Feeders 2, but more importantly for me, he was part of the Red Claws gang in Bad Magic, and he makes me laugh.
He was.
Dude, that fucking gang, man.
Yeah, he's very similar to. There's certain Polonia staple actors that they don't even have to say anything. The second they appear on screen, I start laughing, and he's one of them. So the fact that he's supposed to be playing some brilliant doctor cracks me up, and I love the addition of him in this movie, and that whole scene when he's trying to have some moment,
like
with an alien,
a heart to heart.
What do you want me to do? Tell me what you want me to do, and it's like. Yeah, and he's like,
I
the
want
aliens
you
to die. It's just so funny. He's so good, man. I love Todd.
Mark's wife isn't in this one, right? I didn't notice her anywhere.
No,
Because she's like another one. Like whenever you see her in these movies, it's just like, ha ha. Especially, I mean,
she's a treat. She's fucking hilarious, dude. Her line delivery is always like phenomenal. Also,
I do feel like John McBride is like a legit, like, he's like an actor. Like, he's a good actor. I feel like out of everybody, he's always the most solid.
I think it comes across that way because of what he's surrounded by. I think if you were like put him in like a normal movie, he'd be like, whoa, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, he's gonna be playing across from Christopher Lee and fucking Come on, man. It's John McBride.
I mean, he's like Keanu level bad of like acting for sure, but like he could do those like level of roles pretty well, I'm sure.
I really liked him as this like captain character. He's got like this like dark
me too.
history with the crew where he lost a crew once. Did they allude to the fact that like they were killed by these aliens? Like, is that supposed like he's having that weird like flashback? That
flashback I didn't fucking understand at all, bro. I don't.
Because of his other crew that got killed.
Like, were they killed by aliens?
Is that what it was?
Is that what it was? Is that why?
I think that's what they're alluding to.
Yeah, like that's why he's so like not trusting. He's immediately like, no, these things are hostile. You wanna show what the alien looked like? So these people.
Yeah, let's give Brett Piper a little bit of shout out here.
Actually, wait, not yet. Actually, one thing first.
Okay.
I wanted to show the use
just a tease,
the use of household items as props in this film. They eventually touch down on this planetoid, and they go into this cave, and they figure out that this isn't just like a fucking planet. This is a spaceship. There is an engine on this motherfucker. But that's not the best part of this clip.
Yo, when I first saw this shit, I fucking died, dude. This is the most ridiculous part of this movie to me.
It's not a planetoid. It's a spaceship. A spaceship? That's
Look at this.
impossible.
John, and who's that, Mark?
No, it's John.
Oh, John and John?
Yeah.
Gotta blow this son of a bitch. Let's put fucking smoke detectors on it.
Yeah. That's a pretty good idea. I mean, they could have
Dude,
painted
the close-up is what gave it away. I was like, don't do a close-up on it. It's an obvious smoke detector.
Silhouetted animator.
Passed on it and shit.
Silhouetted animator says, that's no moon, Obi-Wan.
John said that all that was shot, I think, in Mark's basement too, and they just put Glad trash bags up throughout the whole basement to give the cave effect. I thought they did a pretty good job. Yeah,
I'm shocked. I thought they may have like done that somewhere, like just they're in Pennsylvania. You could find a cave fucking anywhere. You walk out of your house and there's one. That's why
it's all in a basement. Yeah, it's all just trash bags hung up.
That's fucking impressive.
Fucking video nasties. The haircuts are ridiculous as always with any of these movies. But like, I feel like McBride's is like supposed to be this like hero cut, like very like fucking like it's the leading man fucking haircut for sure.
Kurt Russell.
Well, in that last clip, fucking John and John, they look like Tim and Eric. Like fucking sitting there in that fucking picture. But let's show them the main alien. This is the mastermind behind this whole thing where they're, I guess, trying to terraform Earth, right? That's kind of like their goal here at the moment. But it's pretty cool. I wonder how big the actual miniature was for this because it's a puppet, of course. It definitely looks better than the Feeder's avocado aliens. But let's roll this one. John Polonia is awesome. Like in a trance because these things have these telepathic abilities, which
his reaction when he comes out of his trance is the best part.
He's like, "What the fuck?" That handsome mustachioed man looks up and he sees this giant naked Cyclops alien. Look at that scream.
The fucking scream is so good, dude. Are you kidding me?
He's got some scream, right? That and when he's like, we're gonna show it in a second when he finally meets his end, his like yell when he's getting killed, like shit, man.
Oh, dude, it's like when he dies in Bad Magic when he gets fucking stabbed in the fucking face over and over again.
It's like guttural, like it's like a
amazing.
It's so unsettling. But I feel
Alien McNugget. That's definitely just a clump of shit with an eyeball.
Get out of here. This thing's just standing there hanging dong on Mars. It's fucking awesome.
No, that's what I thought too. I was like, damn, bro.
EK, this versus the Feeder's aliens. Where do you stand? Who's the superior?
Like that's unfair to compare them because I feel like if Brett did both of them, I could compare that. But I don't want to. That's like comparing, Van Gogh with Picasso.
No, see, I think the Feeder aliens kicked this guy's ass, dude. Like this dude's way more intimidating, right? But I feel like he's very like, I don't know, just like rustic in a way, like kind of like fucking dumb. Also, look how easily he was fucking duped. So it's like I think the fucking Feeder's aliens are a little more like high tech, real space fucking alien motherfuckers that would really. In numbers, there's a fucking ton of little Feeders. There's just we've seen one dong hanging fucking alien. That's all we've seen.
This guy has like the ability to like telepathically talk to you also. So he may be able to do.
That was pretty cool.
He's able
His
to
voice
control
fucking something, dude.
Oh man, well we just showed that he's able to control John Polonia, like to make him do things. So I don't know. Maybe the Feeder's aliens would also be affected too. But let's
Video nasties. I hope you enjoy the voice of this motherfucker, dude.
Your weapons cannot harm me, you pathetic little grub.
You pathetic little grub.
Why does he make these noises?
It's like a cousin of the Feeder's alien. These fucking straps are killing me.
How awesome that looks.
We'll fight to the end. You'll never win.
I already have.
You have, yeah. You have
John giving his all. That's an A+ performance right there.
Anybody that's listening at home, go to our YouTube channel. Come look for these clips because this thing does look like a giant potato with legs. It's fucking awesome.
That's a good call. That's exactly right.
But it's extremely dangerous because it eventually eats fucking John Polonia. Now we're gonna hear that famous scream and gurgle that anytime he dies after the year 1997, that's what happens.
Probably the scene of the movie, right?
Yeah, and there is a miniature John Polonia that goes along with it also, rivaled by how do you say it? Saurians?
Saurians,
Sorry.
So he's getting eaten by this giant alien, and he's screaming, Malco, no. But the alien puppet's like little pepperoni arm is trying to feed like a G.I. Joe sized John Polonia to his
Polonia.
self. Look at that. That's pretty brutal, man.
He's like, oh, don't eat him.
Look
He's
at
just
that
shoving him in his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
So good.
Ridiculous.
Wait, what year was Drainiac?
Oh, I want to say 98.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere around there probably.
What did they tell him? Like, hey, man, we want you to do something for our movie, but we only got about $70 left. What could you get me? And he like, went to, like,
He's done a lot with them. You know, he's worked a ton with them over the years. So he's just part of the crew. You know, he's this gang. I imagine like hanging out on set with all these guys.
God.
It would be so much fun.
You'd say that, but it's probably like the most awkward fucking like
yeah, it's like talking
group of dudes you could ever imagine.
yeah, it's like us three fucking talking. It's the same shit. Brett Piper actually has like a wild IMDb. Like it goes all the way back to 1982.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. Raiders of the Living Dead. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Anybody either? No.
That's one of the only ones I'm still missing. Yeah.
They Bite. That's an okay movie.
Yep.
I like that one.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
he did the house that screamed.
Mutant War, man.
Did he do special effects on Mutant War?
He did Mutant War. That's his film.
Oh, really? Oh, he directed that. I'm looking at his special effects. Mutant War, a Nymphoid Barbarian and Dinosaur Hell. Dinosaur
yeah, that's
Babes.
good. I just posted a clip from that not too long ago.
There you go. EK, what's your Instagram?
Renting the Apocalypse, because that's a post-apocalyptic film. So is Mutant War.
There you go. Cyclops, Arachnia, Screaming Dead, Bite Me. Grizz, that's a movie you like, right? The giant cockroaches.
Yeah, Bite Me is fucking awesome. Bunch of weed and cockroaches
yeah.
and shit. It's fucking
Bacteria,
awesome.
Muckman, Queen Crab, Triclops, Outpost Earth. Man, he's been busy.
Yeah.
But this movie has a pretty good ending, I would say, compared to a lot of other low budget movies. They actually wrap it up pretty nicely. And we get
Delivery here is he's shooting for
good.
the fucking moon, baby. He's going
Yeah,
for
give this
it.
guy an Academy Award.
He's shooting for
Yeah,
Mars.
this is it.
He's shooting for Mars, man. That's where we are.
Species, pal. It might not be perfect, but it's all I have. Guess you'll never understand. Hey, tell your friends, don't fuck with planet Earth.
Dude, you tell him. Just fucking amen, McBride.
So basically,
Now they're
what
getting
ends up,
burnt by the sun.
basically, John McBride instructs
Falls
Hal
over.
that if he doesn't come back or whatnot, he has to make sure by any means necessary that this fucking thing does not make it to Earth. So blow it up, do whatever. But he ends up getting this thing to go hurling into the sun, which would kill all of them. But I guess it's a happy ending because they end up destroying the alien menace and saving the planet. And Cal gives like a heartfelt speech, right? Where he's saying like, we defeated a threat by working together. And that's the only way we could survive. I love the Cal character.
Very heartfelt.
Dude, I really, really like the Cal character. Like, there's a lot of good lines.
You were moved by it. I can tell,
was,
dude. You were like, no, you guys, I fucking love the Cal character.
Yeah.
I have no idea why I like that fucking thing so much, but there's like so many good lines. The one where he's saying like, "Oh, I'm scared," and he's like, "Oh, like what should I do like when I'm alone?" And like he's like speaking to him how he's like sad that John McBride's leaving, where he's like, "Oh, my friends." Then he says
Like
that
shed a
he's,
single tear in that scene.
well, he says at one point, I think, that he's going to be with his friends. So it's like, damn, like
Yeah, dude, he's
got me to
happy in
love-
the end, bro.
they got me
Yeah.
to love this robot thing, this projector. this
They made me feel for an
projector-
inanimate object, bro.
for this fucking projector mounted on top of a TV.
Yeah, that's what it was. Dude. Covered in fucking cupcake wrappers. Dude.
It's the good
sorry,
stuff, man. It's the good stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they really. I feel like they made this like this is an absolute Polonia classic. I think you talking about it, man, it wasn't that bad. It's not a horror movie.
It's just a little boring for me. I'm a hard selling a sci-fi shit, dude. So like, this just isn't my cup of tea, you know. But it's drinkable, bro. I'm down. I still
you go.
fucking finished it.
You could chug it. It's fine.
Yeah, dude. I plugged my nose and drank it up.
EK, what do you think about this one? What are your final thoughts?
Oh man, I love this movie. I think it's really fun. I mean, I think, you know, Mike, you and I have a very similar feel about these Polonia ones, especially, and this is one that is up there for me as well. I did want to point out something before we move on too, that I was going to ask you. Did you know that theme song is quite the jam at the beginning? And I don't know if you looked into the composer, John Royale. Did you look into him at all?
No, who is that?
He that's the fake name of John McBride, who scores a ton of their stuff. So
Wow.
He's also fucking writing the music.
I love
what a guy.
they make up so many names on their stories or like on their films.
Some fill credits.
Like half the names, because John was saying like nobody wants to see edited, produced, written all by the same name. So they just all
credits
come up with
up.
That
fake
was
names.
the only reason they
Yeah.
did it? Just so
Yeah.
that's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
I'm shocked, man.
No, I love this movie, and he all the way back to Splatter Farm. I mean, I think he did the music for that.
He did
too,
Splatter
but-
Farm, Terror House, Blood Red Planet, House That Screamed 2, Guerrilla Warfare, Battle of the Apes, Night Thirst, Among
Yeah.
Us, Theater of the Deranged, Amityville, Exorcism, a 1.9 on IMDb. Oof.
Yeah. No, this is a good one, man. I will say my favorite line of the entire movie that makes me laugh out loud is at the beginning. You know, the first team that goes in and then they end up getting blown up.
Yeah.
You know how they put the smoke detectors around to blow everything up?
Yeah.
The one crew guy asks the other guy, he says, how big of an explosion is this going to be? And then the other guy responds, have you ever seen a molecular explosion? And the guy goes, no. And he goes, it makes that one look like
Like an A+ fucking line. I will agree with that.
that's a Polonia line right there.
Well, the most Polonia line to me in this movie is when he's doing the spacewalk and the alien is like approaching and John McBride is like, get back in the airlock. And John Polonia goes, fucking A, I'm getting back in. And he says it so naturally.
So good.
Like it sounded so perfect. I was cracking up every time I heard that line. I think this movie would be a great watch with a group of people when you're, ingesting your preferred substances. I said that like a fucking moron. Substances. I can't speak. It's available on YouTube, but there's no other way to buy it, right? At this
Just
point,
that
like there's
DVD,
no,
I think, in the VHS, yeah.
and those are out of print, right?
Yeah, as far as I
obviously
know.
the
I don't know.
VHS
Maybe
is out of-
SRS did something, but I don't think so.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that one out because this one definitely deserves to be watched. But like I said, you could find it on YouTube. The tape is very expensive now. The DVD, hard to find. Not that expensive, but just a pain in the ass. Right? That's just one of those
hard
things.
to find. Yeah.
Yeah. But Grizz, this week we're heading over to the wide world of metal with our extra passenger. So we got a 3-way this week. What are we listening to?
Yeah. So I whenever we got the man himself EK on, try to find something a little interesting. I know my man's got a wide variety of musical experience and taste. And he's a metalhead too, so I know that. So like he can fucking hang. But I brought a band called Astral Tomb to the fucking group this week, man. And I think that this album, Complete Spiritual Death, is just like fucking phenomenal. I think this is like a genre crossing, experimental type of, metal album that I was actually pretty taken back by.
This is the first time I've ever listened to this band. When he sent me this, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's an awesome fucking band name. This type of music, I don't know, man. Like the genre, I don't really listen to this like genre. It's kind of a mix of multiple things. Kind of reminded me of I'm not gonna be able to fucking think of their name now. I don't know. I can't think of it. But this a like where are they from? Do you have any idea?
Denver.
Colorado band?
Yeah, Denver, Colorado. Yep.
Yeah.
And this is like their second full length that they came out with. Younger kids, man, like they're not like they got to be like in their early 20s at that and shit. And it's kind of cool that they're like younger and producing music that's like this advanced and like this expressive, because it's very this is different. Even like the album artwork that you're about to see, everything is just very unique about the way they approach this. Why don't we start with All Black Vet? Just give people a little bit of a taste of what they can expect.
Is this like a cover or something? I meant to ask. Like, is this a?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't believe so. No, I think this is the original. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I felt like this was like kind of like different compared to all the other songs on the album, right? Like I was wondering if they were doing something, but I don't know. Hold on, let me roll it.
Oh, they're doing something.
Doing something, all right. I do like
these just like girl vocals that happen at times.
I like when they mix stuff like that. Reminds me of like early 2000s metalcore.
Yeah. Well, that fucking live for that shit all day.
It's like a mix of like death metal, black metal. There's like doom metal in it, and then there's like there's
this bouncy thing. There's like this. I don't want to say new metal, but it is almost like a fucking little bit of like a new metal thing going on in there too.
There's a synth. There's like a lot of synth on it at some points, right? Like it's pretty cool. Like there's that interlude that plays later on in the album. That's like,
yeah, I like that.
It sounds like something.
Yeah, that's what you had mentioned to me. EK was the drum interlude on what is it? Funeral. I can't remember.
Funeral of Self, I want to say is what it's called.
Yeah, Funeral of Self. Yeah, Funeral of Self. Because it's like a fucking 3 or 4 minute, maybe even longer, just like drum section. That is,
dude, that guy
it's
is
insanely good.
Ass off. That's what I would mention about this album is they are mixing a lot, and it's a very ambitious record, I would say. And I can tell they are younger, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. But that drummer came in swinging, and he shines on this entire, from front to back on this record. That drummer is no joke. Like, keep your eye on that dude, because he's awesome. And on that that song in particular, around the 6-minute mark or so, everybody just drops out and basically lets him take over. And it's like an old school drum solo, which you never hear anymore. And he demolishes the kit, and it's mic'd really well. Like, I feel like the production on the drums are top notch, and I was really blown away by his work on this whole record. Like, the production is
kind of strange on the album. I think in general the drums sound amazing throughout the whole thing. The way the guitars and the bass and stuff are like EQ'd out, and like where they sit in the mix is a little bit strange at times. Like, some of the guitar stuff's kind of like really shallow, but like it works somehow for like what they're putting together, especially because the vocalist has like this really deep delivery at times. And like there's a lot of like that girl part you just heard there. There's like songs that have like a majority that are like that, which I was really surprised by. Some things I wasn't expecting, to say the least, when listening to this one.
I wonder if that's like they recorded the drums somewhere else, like from the rest.
Oh, that could be.
Sometimes
I would say, that seems like it. It really does. That would, my only critique really is when listening to it, it's a little disjointed between the drummer and the rest of the band. It does feel like something's a little different there. And maybe it's just because he's really taken over. He's really pushing through this whole record. And they are taking a back seat to a lot of the record to the drumming.
It's phenomenal.
The production, like you said, is so crisp. Yeah, it's really crisp and clean, whereas the guitars they are a little bit messier and noisier,
it's like a lo-fi
and a little back
sound
in the mix too. And so it's interesting, but that might be part of their whole, experimentation too, because that's what they're trying to do. Is
the album before this one does have a very similar sound. I feel like it might be a little bit of like, I think it's honestly a little bit of both, where the drummer is so advanced, maybe in comparison to that he is like pushing a little bit, which you could tell at times, and like they're keeping up. But it's not to like take away from these other musicians, because they are playing very technical, very interesting, dynamic fucking riffs and shit.
Really good.
Weird time signatures. But yeah, it's hard to like, keep up with that. The other track that I pulled here, this clip is like, I thought this was just a very interesting sounding, like way these riffs are built and stuff. This song called Coward. Take a listen to this and like, check out like what we're talking about. Blast is nuts.
This guy's awesome. This is like the bounce that you're talking about.
Yeah. Like,
great.
Just interesting riff writing. I mean, just weird.
Okay, oh wait, no. I was gonna
First time you headbang with hair in fucking years, bro.
What is that?
That's hilarious.
But as you can see, like the drummer is just, he's going off like the whole fucking time. But I would actually like to see them live. I feel like they would be a really good live band.
Just to watch the drummer do his thing would be
Just
a
the whole
pleasure,
band.
man.
I feel like this would be
Hitting
like a
gravities and shit like that would just, I'd watch that all day.
I just feel like this band would be fucking like probably really good live. Like it's one of those things how some bands, like it's more of the atmosphere and everything of like seeing it in person. Like I feel like this band would probably be would rip seeing them in person.
Yeah, one of the things that I liked about the whole feel of this record overall that I don't normally get is it sounds like a live recording to me. There's so much energy in every song, whereas a lot of bands complain that they go into the studio and that their live energy is kind of dulled down in a studio. I wouldn't say that's the case with this band. Like, I feel like I know what they're going to feel like live, and it's captured pretty well.
And I will say that like there's a lot of bands where like when the talent is kind of pushed really far, it's hard to translate that onto an album with like metal in a way. Like sometimes I'll hear bands that are like, man, that album fucking sucks, and like you said, you go see them live and you're just like, holy fuck, like I was not expecting it to be this good or these guys to be able to play like at this level and shit, because it just doesn't come across on the album as well, maybe through production or whatever means or whatever. But like, some very technical bands are just live bands that need to be appreciated that way. I agree. I would love to see this band fucking rip it up.
I still think this is worth giving a listen to. You could find it on Spotify. You could find them on YouTube. You could probably find them on Apple Music. Was it Astral Death? Oh no, Astral Tomb.
Astral Tomb.
Total Spiritual Death. There we go.
That's a great album, man.
Dude, that is
Great
awesome.
name.
That's an awesome band name. Seriously. For real.
Good cover too. I like the covers.
Next week we won't be doing a Halloween show. This was our Halloween show because it's going to be crazy that night. So we decided to do one on Wednesday, and we're going to start November's Vampire Month with something that I feel like most I think this is going to be a new one to a bunch of people. 2001's Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, a tape that I had to actually buy from another country, but it's a NTSC tape. Very interesting movie that we're going to show you guys live next. Well, we're not going to show you the movie, but we're going to review it and show you clips live next Wednesday night.
Wednesday, yep.
At 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Wednesday next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'd be November 1st. But EK, we want to thank you for coming. Where could they find you and everything else that you do?
Thanks again for having me. This is a fun one. You can check out on Instagram. I'm at Renting the Apocalypse, where I just post post-apocalyptic stuff, and then my podcast Laser Graves, which we just put out a new episode on Waxwork from 1988, which is
an awesome movie.
That's such a cool movie.
I like that one.
Yeah, so we just put that out. That's what I'm doing. So check out Laser Graves too. And again, thanks, dudes. This is fun. I mean, I feel like
always.
You know how I am. You guys know me really well. I'm gonna push to be in costume
every time.
Every single episode.
We can make this a tradition that every time you come out, we gotta fucking dress up. I'm fine with that.
I know we
Yeah,
got a
we
whole,
have to dress
we got a
up,
whole list of Polonia movies that we still got to cover. So
Yeah, that's right. It's
we'll
not
go
over.
into the horror
Yeah.
shit again. We'll go into the deep horror stuff again. But Grizz, where can they find you on the internet?
Speaking of where you can find me at Kate_enabler on Instagram. And if you are looking for t-shirts still, like Garbage Man 78 here in the chat was asking about, we are not selling on Etsy anymore through their policy changing and their payout issues that they were having. So if you do want a t-shirt, we still have stock in most sizes. Hit either one of us up on our Instagram pages. We'll be happy to take care of you.
Yeah, and you can find everything we do at www.badtastevideo.com. Please visit our YouTube page. You could see all these episodes that we've done on the channel. You could go back and watch them. You could see all the clips of these fucked up movies that we watch. We have a Patreon if you want to sign up to that. We have some cool things on there. You can ask the people that are signed up. Sometimes we help you see things that are not so easy to find. But
True.
yeah, but we want to thank you for coming, everybody in the chat. We had a great Halloween season this month. We tried to do things a little bit differently. We didn't want to just hit the nail right on the fucking head because where's the fun in that? But again, EK, thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody, for supporting. And
I don't ever want to
us.
see you without that hair ever again, Mike. It's like it's grown
Yeah,
on
I
me
know.
so much over this
wear it.
episode.
I'll wear it
I
a
want you
couple
to
times.
shampoo it after you're done.
Oh man, dude, I'll break it out. I'll break it out for the Christmas party. That will. Of
There we
course,
go.
Yeah.
Dude, we should just rewatch Feeders 2 for Christmas this year, and we'll have EK on again, and we'll see what it's like watching it for the 15th
Yeah.
time. But I want to thank everybody for coming, and we'll see you next week on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at youtube.com/ at Bad Taste Video Podcast. Thank you very much, and have a good night, day, whenever you're listening, watching. See you later.